Welcome to Hopkins High School for Section 6 4A softball. It is a rematch of the section final from a year ago. The number 4 seed Armstrong and the number 1 seed, the Hopkins Royals. As you see, the sun has popped back out. We did have a little bit of a sprinkle here during warm-ups, but it's changed quite a bit here in the last 5 minutes or so, and the teams right now will be getting things started under sunny skies. Jim Feldman, be an interesting matchup here, and we got the national anthem here coming up, and we'll get back and get our first pitch in just a moment here on CCX Sports.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back here to Hopkins. Along with Jim Feldman, I'm Jay Wilcox, as Hopkins taking their defensive warm-ups and Armstrong getting set to bat first here in the top half of inning number 1. And there is a look at Kirsten Maygaard in the circle today for the Royals, and has pitched some for them, but possibly a bit of a surprise. Mckenzie Merritt has kind of been their go-to pitcher and started in the first game against Wayzata. But Maygaard gets the call here today, and
yeah, they've been doing this periodically throughout the year, where Maygaard comes in and throws a couple innings usually, and if she's doing great, they ride with her, but otherwise bring Matt back in.
Maddie Clare getting set to lead it off here for Armstrong, the Falcons center fielder, followed by Alyssa Eggstead, Hannah Bachmeyer, Kaylin Leonard, Mary Isaac, Annie Sorensen, Alyssa Hansen, Allie Burns, and Maya Carruth. For a ball.
I believe this would be Maygaard's first postseason start. This is high again.
Taken up high for ball 2. That one is over the inside part for a strike, so 2-1.
Yeah, change speeds a little bit on that one. Still kept that up high.
Little tapper down to third. The throw across. Let's see, is this a foul ball?
The batter certainly thinks so.
And looks like they're going to say Claire is out. I don't know why she stopped here. Joe Fatandi down to ask. Well, looks like she's just going to be out at first base. So 5-3 on the putout. And Alyssa Eggstead will be the hitter here for Armstrong. I'm guessing she felt it hit her foot, but yeah. I think the rule of thumb is you gotta run anyway. And
right.
let him sort it
Although
out
she would have
later.
been out. I mean, that was a routine play for Kleiss at third.
Eggstead knocking one to the right side. Nice range to get to it and picked up there by Parker Stoddard. And they get the out at first base. So 2 gone here in the top of the first, and Hannah Bachmeyer will hit.
That's a good start for Hopkins. They played Wayzata a couple days ago. The first game of the sections, Wayzata got off to a 3-run lead right away. And that kind of set the tone for the game. But Hopkins did come back and win the game.
Takes first pitch up high for a ball. That one is over the inside part for a strike. So look at Joe Fattanti. He kind of opened some eyes last year by getting to the section final in his first year as Falcons head coach. Had been struggling a little bit as a program of late, and you know, kind of up and down this year as well. Not a great win total, but you know, dangerous enough that you have to be ready for him, that's for sure. And there's a look at Mark Peterson, the Royals head coach. As Jim said, his team got tested in that first round more than maybe what you would have thought by the seeding anyway against Wayzata. Bachmeyer lifting it foul, and that one gets out of play down the right field side.
Yeah, you mentioned Armstrong got through to the section finals. They were actually the winners of the winners bracket, and Hopkins had to come back and beat them twice to get into the state tournament. And Armstrong last year had I'll say a meager record coming into the state tournament play.
Full count here to Bachmeyer with 2 outs in the top of the first. Little soft liner, and it's going to be off the glove of Stoddard, and Bachmeyer will reach safely. Kind of a lot of backspin.
A lot of spin on that ball. Those can be tough to handle, and you know, you've got to go and attack that ball. I think she was thinking about who's covering first base, and just never came up with the play.
So E3 there, and Kaylin Leonard will hit now for the Falcons.
You know, defense plays such a big role, especially when you get to the postseason like this.
Jeski, the catcher for the Royals, able to stop that one and keep Bachmeyer where she's at.
Yeah, the game we had on CCX the other day, the first 6 runs of the game were unearned runs. And that just set the tone.
Back up the middle, Magard flags it down and throws Leonard out. So Falcons are done in the top of the first. No runs, no hits. There was 1 error and 1 left aboard. We still can't hear ourselves or each other at all. So the Royals getting set to get their first time with the sticks.
Yeah, and they're looking to get off to a hot start. I mean, you obviously always want to start from ahead, play from ahead.
Leah Baker, the Falcons pitcher.
Yeah, Baker does not have a long history of pitching. She was kind of pressed into service, and he's done a very credible job for him.
So look at the lineup for the Royals here. Kleiss, the third baseman, will lead it off. Then Barzak, the center fielder. Natalie Den-Hartog, the shortstop. Mckenzie Merritt, the second baseman. And that's Parker Stoddard hitting. And Macy Shadashvili, the DP. Magard, the pitcher. Morgan Holly in left. And Annika Krauser in right field. Shadashvili, I've been trying that one a few times. A tough one, but the lineup for Armstrong defensively: Carruthers, Eggstead, Bachmeyer, and Sorensen in the infield. Hansen, Clare, and Burns in the outfield. Leonard is the catcher, and as we saw, Baker doing the pitching. these teams were supposed to play during the season, but it ended up being postponed, and it was just one of those things where they didn't get a chance to make it up. So you don't have a regular season meeting to look at between the two as they had intended, but.
Yeah, typical spring in Minnesota. There's been you know, a lot of weeks of great weather and a lot of weeks of not so great weather.
Base umpire calling time to point something out to Baker, the pitcher, and Coach Fatani out to just double check with. Oh, they're calling that an illegal pitch, it looks like. So it is going to be a ball instead of a strike on the first one to Kleist.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Baker is doing. You know, the typical thing that a base umpire will call will be bringing her right foot off of the ground.
And the next one hits Hannah Kleist. So the Royals get a base runner to start things here in the bottom of the first.
You know, and the unfortunate thing about getting called for an illegal pitch right early in the game is now you're thinking about it the rest of the game.
Although I would say, you know, good to have it spotted early so that if you know, you're not doing things a certain way and then all of a sudden halfway through the game they tell you can't do it that way. So that's the flip side, I guess. Yeah. Barzak stepping in here for the Royals. So a lot of possibilities here for Hopkins to get that lead-off hitter on. Runner is going, double clutch on the throw and not nearly in time. And Kleist will swipe second.
Yeah, just didn't get a firm grip on that ball coming out of the catcher's glove. Kleist is pretty quick, though. She'd probably have that base stolen.
And Hopkins obviously feeling confident that they could steal it and, you know, not have to just sacrifice her over, or you still could sacrifice her to third instead of second now.
I don't know. I think Hopkins is going to play for bigger innings.
Seems to be the trend of a lot of the teams, you know, in our area, as Barzak takes it outside for a ball, that there is more offense lately. You're not seeing as many 2-1 games and 1-0 games, at least in the conference that we cover. So it's kind of changed the strategy a little bit, so you're looking for some bigger innings. Barzak lifting it foul and back out of play.
Well, and part of that is we don't have a run of dominant pitchers, you know, top to bottom. I mean, there's certainly some good pitchers out there, but the ones that can go out and kind of dominate the game from beginning to end.
3-2 pitch here to Barzak, a little tapper. Baker's going to have to hurry. The throw gets away, and a run is going to score for the Royals. Kleist around from second on the play as Barzak will reach first safely.
Now batting for your Royals, the shortstop number 31.
Yeah, she had that beat anyway, so we'll call it a single, but then a throwing error to allow the run to score. So base hit and an error on that play. And Natalie Den Hartog will hit here for Hopkins.
Well, Natalie's been smoking the ball this year. I mean, she has just hit some shots, line drives. Had a little tough game against Wayzata, so I'm sure she's pumped up for this one.
Changeup sails way up high and away. Den Hartog showed in that section tournament last year how dangerous a bat she has, and obviously a great arm as an infielder as well. Lifts it back, foul down the right field side here.
And good speed on the base paths too.
Changeup just missing there from Baker, and she knows it's a dangerous hitter, but you know, at the same time, you know, you don't want to nibble too much and kind of get a progression of base runners early on as well.
Yeah, it looked like that changeup had Den Hartog fooled a little bit.
Popped up to right center field, hit farther than I thought. It was out near the fence, but hauled in. As tracking it pretty well all the way there was Claire.
There's a little bit of breeze blowing out towards right field.
Royals, the second baseman, number 20.
And she got that one up in the air above the tree line, and I got a little help with that one.
Yeah, you can see calling it a pop-up wasn't not quite accurate. It really carried farther than I thought it was going to. But it never appeared to be in doubt of dropping, as Claire had a read on it right away. Here's Mckenzie Merritt hitting for the Royals. Their cleanup hitter, playing at second base today, takes ball one inside. Ooh, and a nice stop there, and then a throw back to first, but diving back in safely there is Barzak, as that was not a real easy play for the catcher, Leonard, and came up throwing. Her throw was a little bit high down to first. It would have been a fairly close play, I think, if that throw was right there around the knees. But
yeah, I think Barzak had a good read on the ball. Just trying to get off as far as she could.
Another one in the dirt, another throw back, and Barzak diving back in safely.
Yeah, with some catchers, you get to take a read on anything in the dirt, you just start going, but that's not the case here.
And ball four. Merritt will watch four straight out of the zone, so runners at first and second now for Hopkins with one out, and Parker Stoddard will be the batter.
For your Royals, the first baseman, number 19, Parker Stoddard.
Changeup just missing there. Stoddard, kind of one of the few real newcomers to the lineup from a year ago that the Royals sent into the state tournament. A lot of their players had a lot of experience, but a couple of them sprinkled in that were not, starters or key members of that varsity team last year. And that one's in the dirt. The runners are going to move up. Leonard did all she could there, blocked it somewhat, but just bounced away from her. And looks like Baker's having a little trouble hitting her spots right now. Maybe a little nerves, and maybe trying to nibble at the corners a little too much, possibly too.
Well, and paying attention to whatever the illegal pitch was too. Can't forget that.
That time shoots a strike over at the knees. Stoddard was taking all the way there, as you would kind of expect in that spot. Knocks it to short. This will score a run. The throw to first is in time, but the Royals get run number 2 as Barzak comes home. Armstrong, I think this early in the game, making the smart play there. They're playing back enough, just take that sure out at first.
Yeah, that was not an extremely hard hit ball. So that was really the best play.
Macy Shadarishvili, the DP, hitting now for Hopkins. Runner at third with 2 gone for the Royals, but 2 runs have come in.
Yeah, Baker's been throwing a lot of changeups, trying to keep the Royals guessing at the speed.
That one inside is, again, nice movement to get that one for the catcher. And here's where your Hopkins, I mean, you don't know how many runs are going to be scored in this game. You've got a runner at third, and you want to be greedy here and make sure, you continue. It's already been a good inning, but you want to make that third run count too.
Yeah, especially coming up with the 2-out hit. That's always a sign of a ball club that's ready to play.
Pounds it to short. Going to be a tough play. The throw across is in time.
Nice play out there at shortstop.
Wow, nice job. The previous one wasn't real easy, but that one was a lot tougher. Eggstead gets the out, but the Royals do get 2 in the inning as they come up with a couple of runs on 1 base hit. There was 1 error, 1 left aboard. It's 2-0 Royals after 1.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
Welcome back here to Hopkins. Beautiful afternoon now after some sprinkles in pregame warm-ups here. Here's a look at the Royals defense. Didn't quite get to that in that first inning as Kleist and Hartog and Mckenzie, Merritt, Parker Stoddard around the infield. Morgan Holly, Evelyn Barzak, Annika Krauser in the outfield. Zoe Jeske is the catcher who's not in the batting lineup. And Kirsten Magard, the pitcher for Hopkins. So always nice to get out to a good start in any playoff game. And in this one, so far, it's Royals.
Yeah, I mean, Magard set the tone the first inning, getting 3 easy outs, and they just took advantage of some situations and scored some runs.
Number 25.
Mary Isaac, the DP, will be the hitter here for Armstrong to lead off inning number 2. The 5, 6, and 7 spots. Falcons did get 1 runner on an error in that first inning, but other than that, Magard sailed along pretty good. May be able to hear the wind has definitely kicked up a little bit here.
What's been going in and out kind of all day? I mean, you look out at the center field flagpole and there's nothing.
Yeah, it's interesting how just that near to here, it doesn't seem to be moving all that much. And where we're at, it's feeling quite strong right now. Isaac fouling that one straight back into the backstop. And lining it down the first baseline out of play. Be interesting to see if Magard maybe climbs the ladder a little bit here. Isaac showing a willingness to swing at some pitches that are maybe up a little bit. Or maybe she goes up even a little bit higher to see if you can get her to chase. And a little pop-up. This could be a tough one, but Merritt gets back to make the catch. Little in between, but she got a good read on that ball, and that's one where if you don't make the right first step, you're probably not going to get there, but Merritt did a nice job.
Well, you never know what Mark Peterson's thinking was. Maybe he said, yeah, I need that second baseman out there making the plays.
Danny Sorensen will be the hitter. You could see on that replay, too, it was one that I don't think the outfielders were going to have a chance to get to. It's a second baseman or nobody on that one, and she got the job done. Those are the little plays, too, that, you know, maybe against a little bit weaker defensive team that might fall in, and who knows, you know, where your inning goes from there.
Oh, yeah, and you know, as I mentioned in the first inning, defense really plays a big part when you get to this level at this point in the season.
And you always talk about hitting being contagious, but I think good fielding can be kind of contagious, too, for a team. You see a teammate make a good play, and you just have that confidence that you're going to do the same. Lifted down the left field line. It is foul. Pretty decent poke down there, though.
Yeah. When you talk about you know, hitting and fielding being contagious, it unfortunately works the other way too. If you start seeing a team that's having trouble picking up the ball, suddenly nobody can pick up the ball.
Swing and a miss at the changeup as Magard fooling Sorensen there. It was up and out of the zone too, so Sorensen down on strikes, and Alyssa Hansen will bat for the Falcons.
Yeah, that high changeup is one of those pitches that, you know, you really think like you can see it very well, and you know, that was enough out of the strike zone that she couldn't hit it.
And that's the type 2 for Magard as you get the first pitch here. Hansen dropping down a bunt. Magard fielding it and throws to first in time. We'll get back to that point in a moment here. A 1-2-3 second inning work by Magard here. The Falcons go down quickly and quietly. We go to the bottom of 2 here. It is still 2-0 Royals.
Most of my family They never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Leah Baker getting set to work the bottom of the second as Kirsten Magard, the Hopkins pitcher, steps in for her first time with the bat. Takes a first pitch strike. So the Royals had a pretty good first inning. It wasn't like they tattooed the ball all over the place, but they got a couple runners in scoring position, able to bring a couple runs in.
Well, and the big thing is they took advantage of the walk. They took advantage of the the misplay to get an extra base, and that's what the good teams do. Is you're not always going to pound the other team into oblivion, but if you can just keep on chipping away and take advantage of the situations you've got, you got a good chance of winning.
Magard falls behind in the count and then gets hit by the pitch. That one got away from Baker, and she will be aboard on the hit by pitch. Kind of a gift there for the Royals. See if they will run for her. She is the pitcher, so obviously they can.
Yeah,
And
looks
I
like
think
they're bringing someone in. Yeah, sometimes when you get a pitcher who's an exceedingly fast runner, you'll let her run.
Heading for your Minnesota fielder, number 16, Morgan Holly.
So it'll be Sid Bloomquist running at first base for Magard, and Morgan Holly is the batter now for Hopkins. Drops down a bunt. It is a fair ball. Leonard's throw to first base is in time. And they do get the runner over, though, so sacrifice successful for Holly as she got that ball just about 6 inches in front of the plate. Wait a minute. They're going to call it a foul ball. Oh, okay. Base umpire. I was wondering if it didn't maybe hit the bat.
Well, hitting the bat's okay unless the bat is still in the player's hands and it hits it twice, then it'll be a foul ball.
This time not showing bunt and takes a strike. Must have hit her foot then.
Yeah.
Up and out of the strike zone. Flip, quick throw over to first base. Bloomquist getting back.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of throws to the bases out of Armstrong.
Change up and a swing and a miss, and batter is out. First base occupied there. So instead of getting a sacrifice as it looked like she was going to early on, Holly ends up striking out and the runner stays at first. So kind of a victory there for Armstrong, and is all said and done.
Well, it is. In the failure to get down a sacrifice bunt, that can come around and haunt you.
Krauser is the hitter here. Takes the first pitch up high for a ball. Armstrong way in on the left side, expecting a slap hit or bunt here. Is bunting, and it will go foul. And lining that one foul over the Armstrong dugout, into the Armstrong dugout, I should say. Outside, runner is going. Leonard has a chance, but the throw is way to the third base side. She made a good stop, a better stop than I think the runner realized, and a good throw would have definitely had Bloomquist there, but it goes into the outfield.
Yeah, there wasn't a really good jump on that pitch. I mean, she waited until she could see that the ball had clearly gotten away from the catcher, and then it didn't get away all that far.
I think it's one where her eyes kind of lit up there and thinking, you get ahead of yourself thinking, I'm going to throw her out here. And
well, and also you're concentrating on picking up the ball, and you don't have time to necessarily turn and see where the runner is. She had more time than she thought.
Back up the middle. Baker, a nice stop, chases the runner back, but then throws it away. Bloomquist will hold at third, and Krauser to second on the throwing error by the pitcher, Baker. Her second already today. Boy, she made a really nice stop, did a great job looking her back, but then just threw it low.
Yeah, you see that from pitchers, more often than you'd think. They just making that throw over to first base is just not something that comes naturally to a lot of them.
They're so used to throwing underhand that the overhand sometimes gets away. Taken for a strike here by Kleist, who was hit by a pitch her first time up and scored the first run of the game. And drops down a bunt. Flip to first base is in time. A run scores, though, as Bloomquist comes around to score Krauser to third. A very close play at first. Kleist nearly beat this out.
Oh yeah, Kleist looks like he was bunting for a hit on this one, as opposed to a sacrifice. And you can see that the runner at third actually held up a little bit to make sure that the ball was past the pitcher.
So Barzak will be the hitter. Takes a strike. Royals now up 3-0, and another possibility to get another one in here as Barzak had a single in the first and moved up on the throwing error as well.
And again, taking advantage of the opportunities that Armstrong's given you.
Oh, and that one nails Barzak, so she will be aboard. Got a little guard on their arm there, and a good thing, because it made a big noise when it hit it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounded like it hit plastic, and then she was wearing a guard. I didn't see that when she initially got hit.
So first and third, 2 outs for the Royals. Den Hartog, the batter, lifted a long fly ball to right center, her first time up. And it was really a ball that she didn't hit very squarely and still nearly hit it out. So that kind of shows you that she's definitely got power.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd rather hit a line drive than hit a long fly ball.
That one is over the outside part of the plate for a strike, 2-1. Baker trying to get out of trouble here in the second. Kind of has the look of a day that's going to be, hard for them to get out of innings quick. Nice stop there.
Yeah, well, Baker's actually been doing a pretty good job of, keeping Hopkins off balance. They're not really stinging the ball.
And there's ball 4. And yeah, actually, it's Baker has had a couple of mistakes throwing the ball, not pitching, but throwing balls that she fielded that have kind of made things a little bit tougher on herself too.
And walks and hit batters too. Yeah.
Here is Merritt stepping in, and she drew a walk last time up. Bases juiced here with 2 outs for Merritt, trying to break open a 3-0 game. takes a strike.
Nice pitch right over the inside corner. Merritt looking for something a little better that she could handle.
Lays off that one up and out of the zone. Merritt liked on Hartog. Somebody that every time they come up, you're thinking something good could happen if you're Hopkins. I mean, obviously they feel away about a lot of their hitters, but maybe in particular the middle part of the order here.
Yeah, and they've proved it over the course of the season. You know, you always want to construct your lineup in such a way that you know, you got a couple of kids at the beginning who are fast and can get on base, and then your power comes up.
A little up and out of the zone, so nowhere to put her right now. Again, you don't want to groove one to Mckenzie Merritt, but you're not really dying to walk in a run here either.
Yeah, this is a critical pitch in the game.
And that is ball 4 inside. Merritt will draw a bases loaded walk. And trotting home is Krauser with the 4th run of the game for Hopkins.
Number 19, Parker Stoddard.
Yeah, against a team like Hopkins, that's just not something you can do, not something you can get away with. You know, giving them extra runs, giving them free runs, giving them base runners on errors, walks, whatnot.
Parker Stoddard will be the hitter for Hopkins, a little conference here, so bases loaded up. She drove in a run with a grounder to short last inning, and now trying to build on what's already a 4-0 lead for Hopkins.
Yeah, a hit could be really big for Hopkins.
Saves the strike.
Open up the game.
Just missed with the changeup. Baker thought she had that one. A little kind of a frustrated smile there. I think she knew it was a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, well, you know, the strike zone is over home plate. It's not where the catcher catches it.
Right,
and
exactly.
so that pitch was coming in high. You know, it dropped down into what, you know, Baker's vision is, looked like a strike when the catcher caught it.
Way out in front of that changeup and
stepped on
home plate.
But it's only 2 strikes.
Yep, you're right. Or was this a foul tip? Yeah, not a foul tip. They said it was just the 2nd strike, I think.
Yeah, catcher made the right play. Just step on home for the force out.
Missed with that one. And that one way up high and out of the zone, so the count will now run full again here to Stoddard.
And the runners will be off on the pitch.
Fouls it straight back.
Getting a little sprint work in. Seen batters hit, you know, 3 or 4 foul balls and the 3-2 counts, and the runners get their exercise.
Lifts it out to center field, and Claire camps underneath it and will make the catch. So they do get out of trouble, but Hopkins tacks on a couple of more runs in the inning here. Did not have a hit, but also an error and a hit by pitch, a couple of hit by pitches and walks as well. So 4-0 lead here for Hopkins as we progress here in this Section 6 tournament and kind of take a look at how things are shaping up so far here. Obviously, we got Hopkins edging Wayzata, a closer game than most 1-8 games usually are, but our Wayzata coming on a little bit at the end of the year. Armstrong did not have a real easy time either, beating Washburn. And then on the other side of the bracket is where we had the little more lopsided first games, a 9-0 and an 8-1. So Park and Edina also finishing up their game here in this afternoon, and see what will come forward after that. The Wayzata Washburn winner then would get the Edina St. Louis Park loser, and the loser of this one play either Cooper or Southwest, and then the tournament continues into next week after Labor Day. So, but boy, you know, it's obvious, but it needs to be said, Jim, that it's obviously better to stay into that winner's bracket, although Hopkins last year was able to switch that around and get 2 wins at the end of a tournament. But the longer you can stay where you want to be in that winner's bracket, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, and it, you know, it all also depends on the level of competition. You know, last year the section as a whole was down pretty much.
Yeah, she was leaping. That was really good.
And you know, so it wasn't the most incredible comeback to come back and win 2 games. You know, this year, you know, Hopkins comes in as the #1 seed. Edina's playing stronger, and so you know, they could provide some good formidable competition as the section goes on here.
Ally Burns will be the hitter, and you know, talking with Armstrong a little bit earlier this year too, that you know, again, they had not had a great regular season last year, but I have to believe it helped some confidence level for these players as they came into this year and as they come into this tournament again, to know that, you know, that we've got the capability of winning some of these games. It isn't,
yeah, it's a short season when you get, you know, right into section play.
And as you said, it isn't the toughest section around. You know, it's there's possibilities if a team is playing well and gets hot to go a ways. And there's always ebbs and flows, I think, too, with here's a hit by Burns. This one's going to drop in for a base hit, and Hartog could not get out there. So first hit of the game for Armstrong. There's always ebbs and flows with these sections. This same group of schools has quite a bit of good softball tradition.
Oh,
it just
yeah.
so happens that right now isn't necessarily a real high point for some of them that had formerly been real good. There's a look at that hit, see if Armstrong can get something started here. Obviously, they don't want to go too many more innings without at least, you know, closing the gap a little bit. Maya Carruthers, the third baseman, steps in for the Falcons. First pitch just missing for ball 1. Lifts this one a long way to left field, and right back near the track to make the catch is Holly. Carruthers got a pretty good piece of that, considering especially that she's the #9 hitter in their order, but Holly didn't let the wind bother her at all, never really seemed to be struggling. She found it in nice order here, and about 2 steps shy of the track.
Making the routine plays, that's what you got to do.
Maddie Clare is the hitter now for Armstrong. Grounded to third base in her first time up. This time hitting with a runner aboard and 1 out here against Maygard. That one is a strike. Oh, and that one hits her on the left leg. So seen a couple hit by pitches the other way. This time Claire takes one off the leg and get a couple of runners aboard here in the third for the Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like Maygard was trying to turn that over for a drop ball and just got away from her a little bit.
Eggstead will be the hitter here for the Falcons. 2 on with 1 out. Grounded to first her first time up. It was a pretty nice play by Stoddard on a ball that wasn't real easy. Considering the score and where they are in the lineup, this is kind of a crucial series of hitters here, I think, for the Falcons to,
Well, it is. It'll be interesting to see how long Peterson goes with Megard here. She starts running into trouble.
Gonna come out and have a chat right now.
Yeah, just reminding everybody, hey, just take it easy. Play like you know how to play. Got a couple runners on, got an out. There's no need to panic. Just get the batter, get the next batter.
See what Hopkins has done this year, as they were runner-up in the Lake Conference at 5-3. And, offensively been pretty good, about 6 runs a game and allowing 4 per 7. So you're going to stick with Megard right here. I think for my interpretation for Hopkins is it's been a good but not great season. I think they thought they had possibilities to maybe have a little bit better record than what they end up with, but still definitely a formidable team.
Yeah, and they played very well in stretches, and then they played not so well in other stretches, and that's kind of the nature of high school softball. It's up to the better teams to minimize those stretches that are not going well. And then you get to a game like they had on Tuesday against Wayzata, where they did not play particularly well, but they still managed to win the game. That's always a sign of a good team.
2-2 pitch coming here to Eggstead, and liner, but it's fouled on the first base line. Well, easy to see, even though they've been rivals over the years, easy to see why you might overlook Wayzata a little bit based on the game that you and John Jacobson had over here a couple weeks prior. It was not close. They blew the Trojans out of the water.
Yeah, with the 15-run rule, the new rule this year.
Eggstead and Megard locked up in a good battle here, and here's a liner to center that's going to drop in. They'll hold the runner at third, so the base is loaded up. Eggstead coming up with a nice at-bat there and ends up winning the battle.
Yeah, they couldn't really be too aggressive on that runner.
No, there certainly looked like the possibility it might be caught. Good enough.
Well, and it was, the ball was fielded in fairly short center field. And, hit the cutoff person, you're golden.
Hannah Bachmeyer, the batter.
Representing the tying run.
Takes a first pitch strike. And obviously on that last play, too, when you're the runner at first base, you have to get a pretty nice jump to avoid being forced out at second.
Yes.
On a ball like that, too, and she did. So great opportunity for Armstrong. The number 3 and 4 hitters coming up. Bases loaded, 1 out. They're down 4-0, but trying to change that.
That's a good sign for a pitcher when the pressure gets cranked up a little bit, get bases loaded, come right out and get a couple of strikes.
Tried to get her to chase one low, but Bachmeyer watched it go by. 1-2. Just got a piece of that one.
Yeah, she was a little bit behind on that swing.
Yeah, it looked like she decided late that maybe this is close enough. I need to protect here.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely would have been a called strike.
And that one skips in. Bachmeyer's immediate reaction was to kind of flinch back from it. She might have been wishing maybe she had let it skip off her lower leg there.
I know, especially when the pitch is coming in that slow. So let it roll up and hit you.
And a hard liner, that'll be in for a hit. A run will score. They're sending the second runner as well. And it's 4-2. Claire got a good jump and scores easily.
I think that's going to be the end of the line for Kirsten Megard.
Bachmeyer coming through with a huge hit there for Armstrong. An aggressive base running. I admit I was a little surprised that Claire was getting the wave home immediately there with no hesitation. So
no hesitation.
We are going to see the pitching change as Merritt will move over into the pitching circle and take her warm-up tosses here. So a 4-2 lead now for the Royals.
Yeah, and the throw that came in from left field, hit the cutoff person, so that held the runner at second base, because you don't want to put that runner on third with only one out.
Yeah, a lot of times people have a tendency to, you want so badly to cut off a run that you throw it to home even when you shouldn't, but they didn't, to their credit. So Kaylin Leonard hitting here, first and second, still one out, now a 4-2 ball game. Leonard to short on one hopped in. Hartog throws to first. Now the throw across to third. No. Hopkins, maybe if that had played out a little differently, possibly could have gotten 2 outs there, but then Hartog, quick reaction.
Yeah, she had the opportunity to, at least run the runner back to second and could have tagged her out at the worst. Instead of having runners on second and third, you had runners on first and second.
Mary Isaac will be the batter. First pitch taken for a ball here, so Merritt trying to work out of trouble. Gets her to pop it up. And then Hartog, the shortstop, will call and make the catch. So Armstrong, though, comes up with their first big offense of the game. A couple of runs on 3 base hits. They leave 2. So we go to the bottom of the third now. It's 4-2 Royals here in the Section 6 tournament.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Look at the crowd on hand over on the Hopkins side here. The Royals are still leading, but the lead has been cut in half now at 4-2 as Armstrong got a couple in their half of the third. We go to the bottom of 3. Macy Shadarishvili, the DP, will hit for Hopkins.
Yeah, and we got to see how Hopkins reacts to giving up a couple of runs. If they come out and they match that score, things will be fine. If they get a little bit tight and say, uh-oh, this could be a game, see how it plays out.
It's been kind of an interesting way that they've gotten to 4 runs. Here's a chopper to short, and that one goes through Eggstead. So error to start the inning here. As Hopkins has only had 1 base hit, but they've taken advantage, as you said, of walks, hits by pitches, and errors. And there's an error right there. So Maygard will be the hitter.
And that's got to be in the back of the mind of both teams. Hey, Hopkins isn't pounding the ball. Hopkins isn't, hitting all over the yard. And that's the kind of thing that could work.
Maygard drops the bunt down. Carruthers will throw around. Now they throw back to second, and they get the out. Base running mistake there. She rounded second too far, and Armstrong makes her pay, so a double play.
Yeah, that was a nice heads-up play by the second baseman, making that throw to short. you could see that the runner was looking towards third in the hope that nobody was going to be covering third base. But the rotation, the first baseman had that covered.
Morgan Hawley, a little pop-up. Danny Sorensen the grab, and the inning ends abruptly here. No runs, no hits. There was one error and no one left on, courtesy of that double play. So we've ended 3 here. It's 4-2 Royals in the 6-4-8 tournament.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Danny Sorensen steps in to lead off the 4th and pops up the first pitch she sees. Natalie Den Hartog back on the edge of the grass will make the catch here for Hopkins. So Sorensen popping out, and Alyssa Hansen will now be the hitter for Armstrong against Mckenzie Merritt, who moved over from second base into the pitching circle for the Royals.
Yeah, Armstrong obviously trying to capitalize on the good things that have happened the last couple innings.
Takes that one for a ball. I always kind of chuckle a little bit how what the outcome of where the ball is put in play impacts how people, you say good aggressive hitting if they get a base hit on the first pitch, but if they get out on the first pitch, you say you're not patient enough. It's funny how the reaction changes just based on where the ball wound up.
Yeah, well that reaction mainly comes from the parents and the fans. I mean, the coaches, they know what's going on. They've been telling their kids, go after the first pitch. If you see one you like, hit it. 3-0 count. A lot of coaches will give the green light.
Squaring to bunt this time, trying to push it toward first base, but it goes foul.
That was a little bit too close to the line. You want to push that bunt in between the pitcher and the first baseman, right towards the second baseman.
Yeah, if that ball had stayed fair, she probably would have been able to be tagged out on the way by even, so. This time a little spinner down to second. Magard, a quick flip, 2 gone. I think Merritt wanting to show, and the Royals defense as a whole, that okay, you got a couple last time. That doesn't mean it's going to continue to happen. So Burns started that rally in the 3rd with a single. And another pop-up. This one will be in foul ground, but playable for Kleist. And a 1-2-3 inning work by Merritt in the 4th. No runs, no hits, and no one left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 4-2.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Welcome back here to Hopkins. It'll be Annika Krauser leading off the bottom of the fourth for the Royals, and she fouls that one off the dugout. And strike one here as 9, 1, and 2 spots coming up for the Royals. Krauser last time reached on an error by the pitcher Baker, who actually made a very nice stop on the ball, but then threw low to first.
Came around the score.
Yeah, that kind of
that's one of those, Hopkins taking advantage of the situation plays.
I think the other thing the Royals have that maybe we haven't touched on all that much yet is pretty decent speed, and that's that puts a lot more pressure on the defense when you're bunting, when you're stealing, and just various other little things that can put more pressure on the D if you've got a few girls that can really run. And I would say they probably have a little bit better of that than Armstrong.
Yeah, they've got more than their share of good quick players.
Krauser swings and misses, and Baker will get the second strikeout of the game for herself. And Hannah Kleist, the top of the order, coming now for Hopkins.
Now batting for the Royals, the third baseman, number 6, Hannah Kleist.
Obviously, things can change back again, but it looked like in the first couple innings that Hopkins was kind of going to put a lot of runs on the board and maybe score a lot every inning, but it settled down a little bit for Armstrong, and they're trying to keep it relatively close.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't Hopkins who was putting the runs on the board. It was Armstrong giving them the runs, and so that's the kind of thing. I mean, that momentum can continue to happen. But they've tightened up a little bit defensively. Not walking, not hitting the people quite as much, and so it's a good game right now.
Kleist pulled up as though she might look to bunt that ball, but it was way up and out of the zone. Change up here, lifts it out to right, and the catch made. A little bit of hesitation there as I think Burns was fighting the wind just a little bit, but able to get under that one and squeeze it for out number 2.
Yeah, one thing about the field layout here in Hopkins is you don't have a sun field out in the outfield, and that's really nice. A lot of fields are laid out the reverse of this, and the right fielder's looking into the sun.
So Barzak will bat now for Hopkins. Takes a first pitch strike. She's been on twice, you saw there, and scored in the first. Out in front of the changeup there.
Yeah, Baker is not a particularly hard-throwing pitcher to begin with, and then when she throws that changeup, I mean, it's really gotten Hopkins kind of out of their stride, so to speak.
It kind of looks to me like her confidence has grown a little bit from early in the game. Just for whatever reason, they had a little bit of a sluggish start.
Yeah, I mean, you stay close in the game, and suddenly you start feeling like, yeah, we scored 2 runs the other inning. We can do it again.
Yeah, there's a called third strike. So Baker has her first 1, 2, 3 inning. Royals in the fourth, no runs, no hits, and no one left. After 4 complete here, it is 4-2 Hopkins.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
6, Maya Carruthers.
Maya Carruthers stepping in for Armstrong to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Her Falcons trailing Hopkins 4-2 here in this Section 6 4A second round game. Both teams will still be alive, regardless of if they win or lose. But like we said, you know, staying in the winner's bracket and makes your road a little bit easier.
But it does, you know, take the pressure off, and it you know, allows the players to play a little bit more freely, not worry about, you know, this is going to end the season for the team.
And I think, too, with this tournament happening right at the end of the school year for these teams, I think having a little bit better idea of when you're going to play for sure and being able to prepare for that, I think, is a little bit of a benefit as well. Otherwise, sometimes you might be scrambling to get to that first game of, you know, and have to play the loser's bracket and that type of thing. You can map things out, you know who you're going to play a little bit better too. Merritt put that where she wanted it, but it was off the plate to the outside, trying to get Carruthers to chase.
It wasn't where the umpire wanted it.
Exactly. And that one misses for a ball.
Pretty scene out there. Dog's not paying attention.
And Carruthers a swing and a miss. Merritt, I think, wanted the previous pitch and didn't get it, but comes right back, strikes her out. So Maddie Clare will be the hitter for the Falcons.
For the Falcons, number 14, Maddie Clare.
Clare last time got hit on the left calf by a pitch, and it came around to score. Merritt starts her with a strike. Popping it out to center field, and catch will be made. Coming in there was Sparzak, and they did a good job of communicating there and makes the play.
Yeah, you always want your center fielder to take charge in those kind of situations. You know, it's just like the natural tiebreaker. You know, if there's, you know, maybe on a situation where you've got a runner on second tagging up, you might want the right fielder making that play because she's, you know, catching it on her backhand is an easier throw over to third.
Knocked to the left side, Kleist up with it, and the throw across in time. Eggstead runs pretty well, but they handle it well. No runs, no hits, and no one left for Armstrong in the top of the 5th. It remains 4-2 Royals here on CCX Sports. Welcome back here. A nice setting around the field at Hopkins. 4-2 lead for the Royals as Natalie Den Hartog steps in to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning and takes ball one in the dirt from Leah Baker. Down to short. Eggstead up with it. Throw across. And just got her. Dem Hartog disappointed, but just out.
Yeah, I think then Hartog's disappointed about, kind of getting that one off the fist and not putting a good lick on the ball.
Bang, bang, play it first.
Yeah, it was a very close play.
Umpire had a great look, though. So here is Mckenzie Merritt hitting. And Merritt popping one to short right center, and that one's going to drop in. Merritt will hang on.
That was almost an outstanding play at second.
Yeah, Bachmeyer going back on that. It was kind of in the middle of all three of them, and she almost got it.
Number 19, Parker Stoddard.
Yeah, she just took off immediately and said, I'm the only one who's going to have a chance at this ball.
Got a runner at first base, Bloomquist again. So base hit for Merritt, and Parker Stoddard will be the batter here for Hopkins.
Pinch running for the Royals at first base, number 10, Sid Bloomquist.
This is the third time through the order, and so people might be getting used to what they're seeing from Baker. She's been coming in a little bit slower. I know a lot of these Hopkins players play summer ball at a pretty high level, and they're used to seeing pitchers throwing 60 or faster, and Baker's been throwing right around 50, and that can mess up your timing.
Last one was ruled a swing, so 1-1, and here's a little short fly to center, and the catch made. Throw back to first is in time for the double play. Nice job there by Claire getting to that one, and then throws her out as Bloomquist got a little too far off, thought it might drop, and instead it is a double play as we get a look at this one again.
Well, that's another one of those where Bloomquist is kind of hung out to dry because, if the ball falls in, she could get forced out at second if she's doesn't have a good aggressive lead out there.
So the Royals done in the fifth inning. It stays 4-2 Hopkins here on CCX.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
After quite a bit of offense early, things have slowed down a bit. And the Royals continue to hold a 4-2 lead as we go to the top half of inning number 6. Bachmeyer, Leonard, and Isaac. The 3-4-5 hitters coming up for Armstrong. You see where they wound up, just a couple of league wins for them. And they've been giving up about 8 runs per game. The offense has been decent. And then, in a lot of years, good enough to win more games maybe than not, but allowing 8 is going to be a tough to have a great record with that. So, but what matters is what they're doing right now and here today. Hannah Bachmeyer, the hitter, drives it out to right field, and that one will get to the fence. Bachmeyer will have at least 2. She's going to hang on with a leadoff double.
Yeah, if she would have been the winning run, I think she would have tried for third, but they're just leaving her out at second. Be safe on this one.
Now batting for the Falcons, number 9, Caitlin Leonard.
And so Leonard will be the hitter. Well, Bachmeyer had the big hit that drove in the 2 previous runs for Armstrong, and now she starts the 6th with a double. And Leonard will get an opportunity. Leonard knocked one out of the park the other night against Cooper in their big Robbinsdale matchup over at Zachary Park.
Well, anything can happen on rivalry night. I mean, that's, the players from both teams get pumped up for that game.
High and away with that one.
Armstrong could be feeding off of the defensive effort they've put forth in the last couple innings, double plays over the last 3 innings.
Leonard watches that one just outside. Foul tip on that one. We do have a new right fielder, by the way, that had to chase that one down for Hopkins. Is Adisa Preston is out there in place of Krauser here. So she got some action early. There's a look at Preston. Just way to welcome her to the game.
Yeah.
Where the ball hit to her right in the first at bat.
Out of her reach.
Yeah, there wasn't anything. She didn't misplay it by any means. She just went over and got it, which is all she could do. Pop back, foul, and out of play. By the way, I should mention that Hopkins this year will be the site for the final rounds of this tournament. We've been playing at Edina's Pamela Park for the last several years in this section, but this field and the JV field adjacent will be the site for the later rounds, the championship rounds of this tournament. So it isn't just when Hopkins is playing here today that they're at home. So Leonard is swinging a miss. Big strikeout there for Mckenzie Merritt.
Yeah, this is a real nice facility here that Hopkins has. The 3 fields, although I think they're probably just going to be using 2 of them in the tournament going forward.
Mary Isaacs popped out a couple of times here.
It's an important run out at second base. Armstrong's got to figure out a way to get her in.
And hit well to left, but it'll be caught. Scampering back in is Bachmeyer. So Isaac, it's a funny game sometimes. That was one of the better hit balls of the day, but it was right on the line at Holly.
Yeah, she just went up and tomahawked that ball and hit it right on the line.
Number 17, Penny Sorensen.
My first thought was, is there a chance to double her up? But Bachmeyer did a good job of reading that this ball was likely going to be caught and easily gets back. So Danny Sorensen will hit now for Armstrong. Takes a strike. You always kind of hope it evens out for your team, but we've talked about that in other games. You hit the ball really well like that and it's an out, and sometimes you might dribble it 3 feet in front of the plate and get a base hit. Swing and a miss.
Overall, I take the line drives, take my chances.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
going to fall in.
That is true.
Merritt's trying to work out of a tough jam here.
And here is a little
That's
spinner.
a tough play.
Flip and got the out. Good job by Magar to get over and cover, and they get Sorensen 3-4 on the putout. So Armstrong, nothing to show for the leadoff double. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of 6. It's 4-2 Hopkins.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think. Billy!
Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Really really turned into a gorgeous afternoon for softball here in the Section 6 tournament. Hopkins leading Armstrong 4-2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Macy Shadarishvili, the DP, leading it off here for Hopkins.
Yeah, there's no weather issues whatsoever to worry about. The wind's down. The field is in good playing condition. Leave it up to the players on the field.
Watches that one sail up high. Last time up, hit a bouncer to short that Eggstead didn't stay down on and let it scoot through her legs for an error. Oh, and that one hits her right in the middle of the back. Ouch. And that one hurt a little bit. Yeah. Ooh.
Now batting for the Royals, the second baseman, number 9, Kirsten Maygard.
So Maygard will be the hitter, the second baseman.
Yeah, looks like they're gonna bring in a pinch runner for her. No.
Joe Fatani out joking around with Baker right now. Running at first base here for Hopkins will be Jeske, it looks like.
Pinch running for the Royals at first base, the catcher number 18, Zoe Jeske.
That's a good job of a coach. You know, you got to keep your players loose, and you know, you've worked with these kids all year long, and you know them, and you know what buttons to push, and obviously she just needed a little pickup there.
Maygard bunting, it's up in the air, and the catch made by Leonard coming out. So Maygard unable to get the ball down. Jeske at least got back to first. That one could have really been trouble for the Royals.
Yeah.
Good job concentrating too. To you know, the hitters obviously kind of vacating that area, and you kept your eye on the ball though.
Mm-hmm.
Pinch hitter here for the Royals.
And again, it's that failure to get the bunt down that could come around. You know, the Royals have a 2-run lead now. They'd certainly like to have a 3-run lead going into the last inning.
Sarah Leisman is the batter here for Hopkins, hitting in the A spot. Batting with a runner on first and 1 out here in the 6th. The Royals would love to add an insurance run or two. Popped up. Leonard has it measured and makes the catch. So she gets 2 in a row.
Yeah, it's not often you see 2 pop-outs to the catcher.
And one of them was about 6 feet up on a bunt, and that one was much higher. She did a really good job of finding it right away, too.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell right from the get-go that she was going to catch that ball. And so Preston will bat.
Yeah, she's been doing a real good job behind the plate. You know, some of the balls that have been coming in low, she's kept them in front of her for the most part. And making the throws to the bases, keeping the runners honest, and they've all been accurate throws. So.
Preston, the right fielder, came into the game last inning and now getting up there as a hitter, and we'll switch over to the right side. Looks at a ball.
I was wondering if she was going to jump back left again once the count got even, but she's staying on the right side.
Fouls this one away. Runner is going. Here's the throw down, and not in time. Fielded well on one hop there by Eggstead. A close play, but Jeske is in with a stolen base.
Yeah, throw is a little bit low, but you know, you'd much rather have a low throw than a high throw when you're trying to get a fast runner out of second base.
It was kind of a good pitch to run on, too. It was a high changeup. Close play, but she got there. And that went up and out of the zone to Preston. So full count here to the Royals right fielder. Kleist waiting on deck. To third. Throw in time, and they work out of trouble in the bottom of the sixth. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left aboard. We go to inning number 7. Hopkins protecting a 4-2 lead. The Falcons with one more chance.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Mckenzie Merritt trying to finish off a win for Hopkins. Armstrong, though, one more opportunity. They'll have the bottom third of the order coming up. The 7, 8, 9 hitters, Hansen, Burns, and Carruthers, the scheduled batters here for Joe Fatati and the Falcons.
Yeah, and since Merritt's come into the game, Armstrong hasn't done much of anything.
Now batting for the Falcons, number 13, Alyssa Hansen.
Hansen 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. Fouls the first pitch back.
You know, you bring in a different pitcher in the middle of the game, and a lot of times that can throw off the hitters a little bit. You know, Merritt throws 2-3 miles an hour faster than Megard was throwing. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it really affects the timing. Plus, she's got a little bit different look to her delivery, and
taken for a ball there. My guess is that Armstrong probably was surprised that they weren't seeing her at the beginning of the game, too. There's the strike.
not exactly sure what the purpose of a pitch like that is. You know, you always, say, yeah, you want to waste one, but, the catcher moved about a foot outside.
Back up the middle, Merritt snags it and throws her out. Got a good infield behind her, too, but you don't want to let that one get through if you can possibly get it, and she did. Allie Burns will step up here for Armstrong.
Yeah, a pitcher fielding her position in the circle is such an advantage. She can really take up a lot of space.
Burns fouls it away. She had a single in the third inning and scored one of the two Armstrong runs. Yeah, it's a big difference if you have, kind of that fifth infielder as your pitcher, whereas some teams you're kind of hoping they don't hit it too. They just
and then this allows the middle infielders to play a little bit wider, and
soft liner, and then Hartog fielding it on one hop and fires across in time. Burns is out, Chugon, and Carruthers will be the last hope here for Armstrong.
Yeah, the left side of the Hopkins infield is really good. You know, both Ben Hopkins, I mean, look at the strength of that arm. Knocking that over, and Kleiss does a real good job at third base as well.
And Burns runs pretty well. Even though it was fielded flawlessly and thrown hard, it was still a close play. Carruthers will be the hitter. Takes a strike.
The last chance here for Armstrong.
Knocked over to Kleiss, bobbles it, might still have a play. Throw to first base is in time, and the game is over. Kleiss stuck with it on a tough ball there, and the Falcons go out 1-2-3.
Yeah.
She wanted to show that, you know, what you were talking about. You're pretty good over there on the left side. You juggled it, but still made the play.
Well, yeah, and she didn't panic. You know, she said that ball came at me pretty hard. I can knock it down. I can pick it up, make an easy throw, get the out.
So Hopkins jumped out to a 4-0 lead in this one in the first couple innings before Armstrong came back with a pair in the third, but Merritt comes on and able to shut him down. The Royals win it with only a couple of base hits. They had a lot of runners in those first couple innings in various ways. So Hopkins stays into the winner's bracket in this Section 6 tournament. Armstrong now dealt their first defeat in the tournament. They're still alive, but will have to win a longer path back if they want to get to that state tournament. Hope you've enjoyed today's ball game here from Hopkins High School. For Jim Feldman and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. There's your final. Hopkins 4 and